Sendo just knocked down Ricardo Martinez. For the first time in the entire history of this manga, 36 years, 1500 chapters, Data couldn't do it. Ippo couldn't do it in a spar. Nobody. Nobody has put Ricardo Martinez on the canvas in a real fight. And then Sendo walked out there, made Ricardo's arm go numb from blocking his shots, spread his arms wide like he was inviting the man to take a free shot, ate a couple of clean jabs to the face without blinking, hit him with a 0-inch punch at the ropes, and then he threw a left smash that intersected perfectly with Ricardo's counter. And then he sent the unbeatable man down for the first time in his career. Round 4. Chapter 15:15. And then the hiatus hit. We are stuck right there. And today, I'm going to tell you exactly what just happened, why it matters, and whether Sendo, the guy who was never supposed to be the one, can actually finish this. But let me give you some context before we go any further. Because if you're anime only, Sendo in the current manga is a very different animal from the guy you remember. When you first met Sendo, he was a brawler. Pure Osaka aggression. This dude's, I don't know if I could call that boxing. He hunted. His whole philosophy was that fighting should be honest, direct, and violent. He thought tactics were for people who couldn't hit hard enough. And for a long time, this was more than enough. But Sendo has been on a journey in the manga that most people don't fully appreciate. He went to Mexico, he had a spar with Ricardo Martinez, and for a moment, one little moment, he rocked him. He even knocked him down. He beat Alfredo Gonzalez, who is the guy who handed Ippo one of the worst beatings of his career. He earned the right to challenge Ricardo straight up. And this is a thing that makes Sendo uniquely dangerous in this fight that nobody talks about. Sendo is not Ippo. That sounds obvious, but it's actually the most important tactical point in this entire matchup. Ricardo has faced someone like Ippo before. He's seen the Dempsey roll coming and going. He studied that stuff on some level. But as I said before, Sendo doesn't fight like Ippo. Sendo fights like Sendo. All rotation, all hooks, and all smash. And this is important. This dude has probably studied Ricardo's tapes for a long time. He knows what works and what doesn't work. He came in with information nobody else had before him. And then he made Ricardo bleed. In chapter 15:12, Sendo eats a shot, throws his own left, and when the dust settles, Ricardo's mouth is bleeding. The audience can't believe it. Miyata turns to Ippo and asks, "Have you ever seen Ricardo bleed before?" Ippo says yes, once, against Wally, slightly, from the corner of his mouth. And only because Ricardo was so confident that he was going to finish him at close range that he didn't bother to be careful. Ricardo let himself get nicked because he knew it was over. He let his guard down because it didn't matter. But this time, Ricardo didn't let his guard down. Sendo forced it. Let's go back a little further in the fight, because what Sendo opens with is genuinely insane from a boxing standpoint, and it's also genius. Chapter 15:10. The bell rings. Sendo walks to the center of the ring, gets into Ricardo's punching range, and puts both arms out to his sides. Just open, unguarded. It's like he's saying, "Go ahead." The crowd thinks he lost his mind. The commentators are confused. Even Miyata, watching from the crowd, says this is not the spot to look down on someone. Ippo is defending it. He knows Sendo does this. Says it's a pressure tactic, that he's forcing Ricardo to be the one who throws first. But here is what Sendo is actually doing. By dropping his gloves away from his face, he's clearing his own sightlines. He wants to see Ricardo's ghost jab, the one with no shoulder telegraph, as cleanly as possible. He's basically saying, I'm not gonna try to block it. I'm going to learn it. I'm going to eat it until I can read it. And what does Ricardo do? He throws it. A couple of times. Clean to Sendo's open face. Sendo stands there and takes every single one. The crowd thinks it's a slaughter. But Sendo is grinning because Ricardo just gave him a couple of reps of the most dangerous punch in the featherweight division. For free. And if you hear it like this is not the plan of a brawler. This is the plan of someone who has thought very hard about the only way to beat a man who is mechanically perfect. By chapter 15:13, Sendo has found his range. Ricardo's jab is landing, but Sendo is head-slipping it now. He is countering with the left that grazes Ricardo's face. The crowd goes crazy. But it didn't land clean. They go crazy because Sendo got close enough to graze the man. Nobody grazes Ricardo. Ricardo's footwork and neck twist make him nearly untouchable at distance. And early on, something really significant happens. Ricardo's right arm goes numb from blocking Sendo's hooks. That's not a small detail. Ricardo's defense is almost supernatural in this manga. He absorbs and deals with damage better than anyone. The fact that Sendo's attack volume is having a physical effect on Ricardo's body after a few rounds is Morikawa telling you something. Sendo can hurt this man if the fight goes long. But Ricardo is still a technical genius, so he counters Sendo going to the ropes, hits him with a liver shot. Classic Ricardo. He has watched Sendo walk through punches all night and he finds the one shot that doesn't get walked through. The liver. Because you cannot will your way past a liver shot. It shuts the body down whether you want it or not. Except Sendo stays close. Clinch range. And that's when the 0-inch punch happens. Chapter 15-14. Sendo is pressed against Ricardo at the ropes. Ricardo thinks he's about to clinch, so he's loading up another liver shot. Sendo instead presses his left fist into Ricardo's ribs and just twists it from 0 distance. A corkscrew punch with nothing behind it except rotation and leverage and the weight of Sendo's entire body. Ricardo's going sideways. It's like a tiger just bit him. Miyata is asking Ippo if he can do that too. Ippo just smiles. I wonder where Sendo got that from. Chapter 15-15. Loneliness at the top. Sendo is throwing a left smash. Ricardo is throwing a counter right. The kinda exchange where you don't know who got hurt more until the dust settles. But Morikawa cuts away. Before we see the result, we get Ricardo's flashback. His father, a boxer himself. Young Ricardo asking his father what it means to be strong. His father tells him he'll know when he becomes the champion, and that they'll see the view from the top of the ring together when that day comes. His father leaves and tells Ricardo to wait for him, but his father never returns. Then Ricardo becomes WBA featherweight champion, the summit his father was talking about, the view they were supposed to share. Ricardo reached it completely alone. And then we come back to the ring. Ricardo's on the canvas. Sendo is standing, right arm swinging, the referee counting. The announcer doesn't even know what happened. They go to the instant replay. Ricardo gets up at 6. And here's the detail that absolutely wrecked me. He forgets to take a fighting stance. Because it's the first time in his entire career he's been knocked down in a real fight. His body doesn't have the muscle memory for it because it has never needed it. And even Ricardo, the man who has been alone at the top his entire career, feels something like relief. Because Sendo reached him. Because the summit isn't lonely anymore. Because someone finally made it up there with him. Then the gong sounds to end round 4. And then Morikawa went into hiatus, man. That's where the manga stops. Right there. Ricardo Martinez on his feet at the count of 6, shaken for the first time in his life. End of the round and nothing. Okay, here's the honest breakdown, and I'll give it to you straight. Sendo knocked him down. This is real. But a knockdown in round 4 of a world title fight is a chapter. It's not the ending. Ricardo got up at 6. Not 8, not 9, 6. He wasn't hurt badly enough to need the full count. He just needed to clear the shock of the new experience. And after the gong, he walks to his corner feeling relieved. He is not scared, man. He is relieved. Because he finally has a real fight. This is a big problem, man. And here's why that problem is bigger than most people realize. Because we've seen exactly what happens when Ricardo is recognizing a real opponent. We have the blueprint, and it's terrifying. Date Eiji, the rematch. 10 rounds of Ricardo beating him clean, methodical and technical. And Date is refusing to go down. Over and over, dual exchanges, refusing to fold, and he's coming back to the center of the ring on legs that had no business holding him up. Ricardo was even admitting it in the corner. He underestimated Date. He was tired of the world stage, tired of just defending a belt. And then he said the line, "Perhaps it wouldn't be so bad to return to how I once was." That's when the chapter is titled Devil's Back. Takamura is commentating the shift live. Ricardo stops throwing precision strikes. He is switching to volume punching. Rough, high count, no particular pattern. Not wild. He's never wild. Deliberately patternless. Bill is confirming it in the corner. Ricardo's fighting his old style. The style from before the belt. El Diablo. Not the textbook. And he breaks Date's hand on the elbow block before Date's heartbreak shot can land clean enough to finish it. Wally forced glimpses of the same thing at close range. But Wally couldn't absorb the volume that comes with it. The moment Ricardo opened up that mode, Wally's body couldn't handle what followed and the fight ended. Date Eiji is the only man who made El Diablo appear for a full stretch. And he still lost. Now think about what Sendo just did. This dude didn't just push Ricardo into a corner for a few exchanges. He knocked him down, man. Round 4. The knockdown is real, and Ricardo knows it. He literally forgot to take his stance when he got up because his body had never needed to know what to do next. That is a deeper provocation than anything Date gave him. If El Diablo was the answer to Date refusing to fall, what mode does Ricardo find for the man who actually put him on the canvas? That's the question Sendo has to answer in chapter 15-16. And nobody in his camp has ever been in the ring with that version of Ricardo at full output, because nobody has ever provoked it this far. We are suspended mid-fight and Morikawa is in recovery. Chapter 15-16 has no confirmed date, but I'll tell you this. The last image of the manga before the hiatus hit was Sendo standing over the first knockdown of Ricardo Martinez's career. His fist is swinging, the crowd is frozen, and a man who fought his life to reach the summit finally finding someone else up there. If this is the last chapter Morikawa wrote before his health forced a stop, if 15-15 is the last thing he gave us for a while, it's a hell of a place to leave it. Go subscribe, we're watching this one through to the end.